And I'm being joined right now by Raymond Vickery. He's the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce. Thank you very much, Mr. Vickery, for joining us at this point. The first question to you, U.S. President Joe Biden, very briefly, but amid a full-blown war, met Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. His statements are not mincing with words. He's given his full backup for Israel. Now the latest announcement that he has made of $100 million aid that is being given for certain regions, and he's saying it will reach the right people in Palestine. How do you really interpret this?
Well, thanks very much for having me. I watched the statement as the president gave it and have looked at the wording of it, and it seems to me to underline the deep commitment that President Biden has to trying to keep this war from spreading. He's a decent man. I know him personally, and he is very much committed, as Prime Minister Modi is, that this is not an age of war. And so the statement, it seems to me, and the $100 million in humanitarian aid are a part of that. I think that one part of the statement that ought to be recognized is that President Biden has recommitted the United States to a two-state solution. I think that this is a recognition that this is not just a military problem, although it seems to me that the United States, Israel, India must stand together against terrorists. And Hamas is clearly a terrorist outfit. It's proven that by what it did in killing indiscriminately babies, taking hostages, grandmothers, mothers, and so forth. So I think that this is a significant effort by the president and the United States to keep this from degenerating into a wider war. You know, we look at 5,000 or so killed, and that is indeed a very, very great tragedy.
Right.
But there is a bigger picture here. You know, in World War II, it was about 60 million people killed. And it affects India, the United States, as Joe Biden reminded the Israelis, it's who we are. We're committed to rule of law, not trying to murder civilians. And I think that the $100 million underlines it. It remains to be seen, of course, as to how it will be carried out. And that's a mission for all democracies, it seems to me, to follow.
Okay. Mr. Vickery, while this aid has been announced, a humongous amount that definitely will even fall short for all the devastation that we are witnessing across Gaza, for that matter. But at this point, as we speak, getting any form of aid to that place, to Gaza, is nearly impossible. Are we looking at any breakthroughs, particularly from the Egypt border?
Well, I think that you put your finger on it. Egypt, of course, is very key here, and having an opening to be able to do it. But it's plain that Hamas does not represent all of the people in Gaza, or even the majority. I mean, Hamas can't even get along with the Palestinian Authority, and they are in the mold of ISIS. And that is anything that's done in terrorism is justified by some greater goal that they have. So it is not to be underestimated. And of course, this strike, which occurred on the hospital, however it happened, has put a dent in trying to get face to face the leaders of Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, in order to be able to figure out, along with Israel, how this can be done. But this is a time for all peace-loving nations to try to contain this rather than fanning the flames of war. India has a commitment to fight terrorism. It also has strong ties with Israel. I think Israel is number 3 in terms of defense supplies from outside to India, and it has ties with Iran. And so all of these could be brought to bear now to keep this from being a conflagration which will kill many, many millions of people.
Right. Mr. Raymond Vickery, thank you very much for joining us.